Everyone visits Seoul and Busan when they come to South Korea, and I did too. But what if I told you one of my favorite places in the country wasn't either of those cities? Today, we are exploring Daegu, a city that often gets overlooked by international tourists. Located only about an hour from Busan by train or bus, Daegu makes for the perfect addition to your South Korea itinerary. My first stop was Dongwasa Temple, located on the slopes of Palgongsan Mountain. Getting there was surprisingly easy. From Dongdaegu station, I hopped on a red bus that takes visitors directly towards the temple area. And honestly, the journey itself was part of the experience. The moment I arrived, I knew this place was special. The pathway leading up to the temple was lined with colorful lotus lanterns celebrating Buddha's birthday. Small waterfalls flowed alongside the walking path, and there was calmness in the air that instantly made me slow down and appreciate the moment. One thing I noticed while traveling is that some destinations impress you because they are famous, while others impress you because of how they make you feel. Dongwasa definitely falls into the second category. As I continued walking through the grounds, I came across one of the temple's most famous landmarks, a giant Buddha stone statue that towers above the surrounding landscape. Seeing it in person was incredible. Photos don't capture the scale at all. I spent some time exploring the temple complex and simply taking in everything. Out of respect, I chose not to film the inside of the main hall, but visitors are allowed to enter, and I highly recommend doing so. Even if you're not religious, sitting quietly for even a few minutes and experiencing the atmosphere is something truly special. What surprised me the most was how uncrowded it was. Here, I mostly shared the space with locals who had come to pray. The temple grounds are massive, so take your time to explore every corner. After spending a few hours at Dongwasa Temple, I made my way to Ayang Railroad Bridge. Now, I originally planned to come here for one specific reason. I had seen photos online of this sign and thought it would make for a really nice picture. What I didn't expect was to end up spending far more time here than planned. The area surrounding the bridge was absolutely beautiful. The river stretched out in front of me, walking paths ran alongside the water, and there were hardly any people around. It immediately reminded me of Seoul's famous Han River Park, minus the crowd's noise or rush. Since I was visiting during cherry blossom season, the entire area felt even more magical. Trees covered in pink blossoms lined the pathways, creating what honestly felt like a real life K drama scene. One of my favorite things about traveling is discovering places that aren't on every tourist's checklist. Places where you can simply walk, observe daily life, and enjoy being in the moment. This was exactly that kind of place. Along the river, I also found several cafes where you can sit and enjoy the views. Sometimes the best travel memories aren't created by famous landmarks, but by simple moments like these. My final stop for the day was a botanical garden, and to be honest, I arrived without any expectations. I thought it would be a quick visit before heading back. Instead, it ended up being one of my most favorite places in Daegu. The first thing that caught my attention was the incredible variety of flowers. There were colorful tulip displays, beautifully maintained gardens, and plants from different regions all gathered in one place. But what I loved more than the flowers was the atmosphere. Beyond the gardens were peaceful walking trails surrounded by trees and greenery. The further I walked, the quieter everything became. As travelers, we're often searching for extraordinary experiences, but sometimes what makes a destination memorable is getting a glimpse into everyday life. Standing there, watching people enjoy this beautiful space, I found myself thinking about how lucky they are to have a place like this right at their doorstep. And honestly, it made me understand why so many people fall in love with South Korea beyond its major cities. I arrived thinking it would simply be a stop between destinations. Instead, it became one of the most memorable parts of my trip. I genuinely recommend adding Daegu to your itinerary. I'll leave all of the locations featured in this video in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.